to a large.
Are we gonna
community.
restrict the, nonprofits to just county nonprofits?
Yeah, I would like to.
I would
would like
with you
to.
on that, dude. 'Cause
And that's what we can
I'm
talk
tired,
to Ed.
I'm, to be honest, I'm tired of outside amenities.
And you lose control of it.
Exactly. I mean, and they can call it dictatorship, whatever they want to call it, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
But
I believe,
that is another Ed question.
It's an ed question, right? Can we, if we can do that, that's something we can talk about, you know?
Because the hurdle that we've reached before in trying to do stuff like that is that if state money was involved, you can't do that. And I'm not sure if we classified that state money was involved in this.
Oh, state money, that's
So I don't know how
Gee.
that, you know, and I get what you're saying. Because I made that proposal on industry incentives, that the jobs only counted if they were Scotland County, so no, the state incentivized, you can't do that. So that's an Ed question too.
There's some homework we need to do, and
Yeah.
we just need to do that. We don't wanna go off half-cocked.
Give us some time.
Okay.
And we'll get back with you on the.
So, Mr. Williams,
Yes,
have you took the opportunity to walk through IJ?
okay, probably twice a week.
Okay,
Yes.
so you are familiar about
Oh,
the
yes, sir.
condition and
Yeah.
everything and what you're looking at and what you're facing?
Yes, yeah,
That cafeteria, you seen that, Aaron?
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's not as bad as it was.
And you're still prepared to take it on?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, 1,000%. Yeah, I think that is like I said, the asset is there, it's just underutilized. And it's not mismanaged, everything is going well. We just saying we wanna maximize the utilization of it, and that's the intent. And so, whatever we have to do to make that, investment, then yes, we're certainly.
Yeah, it's just,
Well, I think
we're all limited to what we have operating out there now. So,
I think what the board is pretty much saying, I think, I can say everybody likes what you're saying. But I think, what, Commissioner O'Neill is saying is I think we just need to cover all of our bases.
Yes, sir,
going
I
into this.
understand that.
And to make sure somebody can't say, well, you like him better than you like me.
Right,
And I think that's what we got to be careful of, and just kind of cover all of our bases as we're going into it and make it work right, and make it look like right to the public and make it look right on paper.
Yes, sir, I totally understand that.
so, and it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, but, say you wind up with this. How are kids, I see local kids being involved, people in Laurel Hill, Wagram, Gibson. How are you gonna get them involved, and how they, if they can't get there?
Oh, we have so I think that moving forward with additional presentations or whatever, but we have a current fleet that sits on the right-hand side as you're going into Hamlet, and we have over 46 vehicles in our
Okay.
fleet right now that we do in our after-school program, and we're taking our kids and busing them through bands and things of that nature throughout that. So we're certainly prepared. In our summer program, we have been dealing anywhere between 300 to 500 kids in our summer program, and we was hosting that at the Highlands. And so we've been busing kids, from around, from other counties as well,
Sure.
to include Richmond and Robeson County in that area. So
Okay.
we're certainly prepared to do that.
Mr. Williams, how long have you been doing this, rather? With summer programs and some of the things you do with Rock now?
Yeah, we've been in ministry in Scotland County since 2000, and so our summer program started about 2003, and then so it's been a little over 20 years of experience within the county with dealing with our particular kids, and so we initially we had the space over next to the bowling alley, which I don't know, shameless plug or not, but you had the privilege as chief to visit us many times, both good and bad. So I think that having that experience, certainly, qualifies us to be able to sustain programming necessary to benefit for our kids in Scotland County.
I'd like to offer a motion to table.
second the motion.
We have a motion to table, we have a second? That, yes, I second. Dorothy's got to record that.
Yes.
All right, any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
We'll get back with you on
All
that
right,
after we do
indeed. Okay, appreciate your time.
some due diligence. All right, we're moving on to the Scotland County Arts Council funding request. Ellen Smith.
Can I step up
You
to the table?
can step up and sit down. You don't have to stand.
Well, that's good, because I'm kind of recovering from hip surgery. I am Ellen Smith, and I am the chair of the board of directors for the Arts Council, and we're requesting funding for next year. We've had a good year, even though we were cut in our funding in several areas this year, we have still kept our programs going. We've reached out and partnered with the school system. We just wrapped up our community art show, and we had a reception in conjunction with the school system. We had about 200 people come in, parents and students, and we had local artists. This has been a learning curve for me. I'm a retired school teacher, and I came on as board chair 2 years ago, and unfamiliar with a nonprofit, unfamiliar with the Arts Council, but in the 2 years that I've been doing this, I've found that we're very fortunate in Scotland County to have the Arts Council and have the building downtown where we can host certain things. We are presently working with two theater groups, the Big Cheese Children's Theater Group and Encore, of course. And we also have picked up Chris Forr's music students, and they're doing a recital with us and helping us with that as a fundraiser. We have expanded our Artist of the Month for this year, and we opened that up to a lot of different artists local. We didn't realize how many local artists there are. They're all in the corners of the county. We've had quilt making, artists, poetry, writers, indigenous carving, painting. We've opened it up to a lot and found a lot of artists in the community that we've brought in and showcased their art in the Arts Council. We also worked with the city this year, and we rent the building downtown from DTM, who owns that building in downtown Warrenburg. And we reached out to the city with their facade grant and got some work done on the front of that building to make it look better, upgrading it. They just put a new roof on the building. And when I went to a district meeting in Raleigh, we're just very fortunate that we have a downtown area like that we can pull in people. But funding is an issue because we are, some of our funding was cut last year. Some of the federal funding's being cut. We have a grassroots grant with the Arts Council of North Carolina that helps support us, our membership. We get money from United Way. We get donations. But we have to rent the building, and we were able to put a director in place with a grant that we got 2 years ago, but that money has kind of dried up and she's going back to office manager. But we were able to do a lot of things with our minority money. We had the Black History Month in February where we worked with the school system. We sent some minority storytellers in to do some Black History programs for the schools, and that was a big success. We had an indigenous event for indigenous folks back in the fall. And like I said, we've really done well with our programs with the cut in funding, just because we're stingy. we don't spend money on stuff, just junk. Most of the money that we got from our grassroots program goes to pay our artists, and a big portion of that goes to minority artists because Scotland County is made up of a lot of different minorities, and so we pulled in some minority artists. We did the mural on the side of Church and Community Services building last year, and our indigenous artist, he is a teacher at Search, and, he joined our board, and so we were trying to diversify our board. And, he's really talented and has brought a lot of insight in young artists that we just met by accident. And a couple of just heartfelt things, when we picked up the children's theater, Stephanie Van Hassel does the children's theater, the Big Chiefs Children's Theater, and we, supported her, had some plays at the Arts Council. I've never seen kids so excited about being in plays. We had a teenager who couldn't get a ride over to his, to the plays, to the play practice, rode his bike every day so he could come to play practice. Had a little girl who's being raised by her grandparents, and they struggled to get her there, and they got her there at every practice. So it was exciting for me to see kids who had never been in the play, or in a play, and to see some little tiny children who, wanted to come, but, 6-year-olds can't really read a script, so, Stephanie put them as the gargoyles in the Wizard of Oz, and they were the flying monkeys, so they didn't have to read a script, they just flew around, But we have been very active this year, and last year, and we are requesting, some funding through the county, to help us with our programs for next year.
8,000, if
Yeah,
I read your
and
letter.
we could use more. We're not one of the nonprofits who can take on each other.
Welcome to the club.
We could use more, but we, like I said, we rent the building, we have a part-time person working there, and, most of our money goes to support the artists, and, we were able, with some extra grassroots funding last year, we were able to help Chris Forrest's kids get some instruments. Those kids come and take lessons from him, and if they don't have an instrument, they learn an instrument. If they don't have an instrument, he finds them instruments. And so we were able to give some money to purchase some instruments for the kids who couldn't afford the drums or the guitar, but wanted to learn it. We were also able to, we're doing 2 camps this summer, art camp and theater camp. And, we had to turn away kids last year. We had so many kids come to the art camp and the theater camp. Tyrus Jones does our theater camp for 2 weeks. We have different artists doing the art camp. And, we tried to keep that. We did not go up on our price for that this year. It's very minimal what the kids have to pay. We provide their lunch, but we've got a lot of, help from the community with helping with the lunches. And, we had some kids who said they've never been in an art camp, and they've never been, we had artists come in and do a different art activity with them every day. And, that was very successful. We're almost at capacity already for the June art camp. We are, and a lot of that is volunteers. We do pay our artists a minimal fee, and we provide the kids for lunch, a lunch every day, but, that's been very successful, over the past couple of years with our camps. So,
Okay.
I'm over probably.
What has our historic funding of this, is anything, I know we gave some art money.
So in the past, there's been, 7,500 was what had been
Right.
provided, yes.
And it was
that
taken-
was 2 years ago, we did not do anything last year.
And
Right,
it's taken out of the library budget and the Parks and Recreation budget. And it was supposed to be under the condition that there were joint programming. Because if you remember,
Well, I know we've gotten in trouble
local,
because,
right, Fiscal Control Act will not allow the county to just donate funding to
Right.
anyone. In order to donate funding, you have to be contracting for a service that the county cannot provide, like they're filling your gap.
right, yeah, that's what I mean, we have to receive a service in return for it, and it has to be a defined, and that's kinda what happened with Christmas on Main,
Right.
Again, an Ed question. I'm not saying call him and get him in here, but we have to get our attorney to look
right.
at
And
that.
one of our funding issues with the state was that we needed to partner with other community organizations, and we have really strived to do that this year. We have been, partner with the library to do some joint. We partnered with the schools, we partnered with United Way, we partnered with the Rotary Club, and we provided the vendors for the Suds and Swine, and the children's activities in the park. It was, they were encouraging us to partner with other community services to, you know, to work together so that we weren't out there on an island by ourselves. And, I think we've done pretty good with that. We still can do better. We could still do better. We're all the time reaching out. You know, the school system hired an art person this year. And, we have asked him to join our board because we felt like that would be, you know, advantageous to us and him. And, that was how we got the community art show with the schools. And, I'd not seen 200 people in the Arts Council before. That was a big success that we partnered with them to have the reception. The kids and their parents came, a lot of community people came. So, we've been working, you know, to do that.
Any other questions? I guess what her story here is, this is gonna be another ed issue.
Yeah, I think
It'll be another ed issue to move on, so, I don't even know that we need a motion and a vote. We can just, it's a unanimous consent to table it until he's had time to review it, and, we'll have to get back to it.
All right, thank
Okay?
you. Thank
All
you for
right.
having me, and I appreciate
Thank
the
you for coming.
opportunity.
all right.
All right, we'll move on to, the rescue squad. Jordan, are you doing that?
If we'll pull up,
I've got, I've got it.
or y'all got it. So the rescue squad has put in their budget request for the year, and of course, these gentlemen are here to answer any specific questions you have. And I think you wanted me to talk a little bit about the plan for having its own building, so,
Well, let me ask this question before you get started. I'm looking at the page that you put in that one. The first column has a number, the second column has a number. Is the first column this year's number?
will you pull it back up, Ms.
It's just
Costello?
not labeled.
So you're talking about the 60,000?
You just had it up, there you go.
Yeah, that column.
Yeah, the left column is your last year's budget, and the right column will be this year's budget.
Okay. That's what I thought.
That's fine.
The date taken at the very top of the page, but you'd have to go through everything again.
It won't even go that high.
Oh, he changed it.
All right, I'm sorry. I just wanted to know that before you started.
We don't have this in our package, April. That's what I'm.
No, not printed out, you
It's on
don't.
that folder.
You have it in what was shared with you. You have a link to it, like Mr. Ivy's in it right now.
In the Google folder?
Yes, sir. And so if you keep in mind, this is actually split between the city of Lombard and the county, 50-50. But they always come and give us a budget. One thing you may see where it says, part of what this budget is for maintenance supplies, part of, I believe, what the rescue squad is trying to do in the upcoming year is, you remember the old North Fire Station that was flooded
Yeah,
during the last
it
hurricane?
was issued.
That basically can be warehouse space now. And their plan is they would like to get that and move all their non-everyday use equipment like boats, ATVs, into that as warehouse space. They're not talking about going in and setting it up, not office space. They would still leave their trucks at the new fire station because they use those to respond daily, and but use the other as warehouse space. So there will be a certain amount of upfit to do that, and so part of that is in these numbers.
But that's up to the city.
I could-
I guess the
That's-
city's
Well, the
allowed.
city would do the property, but part of the upfit is included in
But
these.
half, correct me when I hit the wrong thing, but half of what's here, if it was approved that way, half is us and half is the city.
That's right.
So by calculating that, that would be, and please nobody hold my math skills here, but, about 73,000 total if we split it with the city.
It would be the 105 plus the 42. and then half of that.
147,
But
which
what,
is about 73. How about that
wait a
for
minute,
asking?
wait a minute.
Hey,
Your mama taught me something.
hey, bud,
Hey,
you
hold
wanna
on,
sleep in that garden?
hold on. I do have a question. On this time, the old fire station on North Main Street, what are they gonna do to the building as far as cosmetic?
So most of the budget that you're seeing now is, we'll talk about the uniform line item and all of that is our day-to-day operating budget. We did increase some things like Ms. Sneed said was maintenance and repair equipment went, and down in the capital outlay. So the goal is for the city, and we've been talking about it, and I think in July, we're gonna try to make a move on this, but we're currently using it now. FEMA wouldn't allow the fire department to move back in it without bringing it, repairing it and doing a dam around the place to keep
Right.
it from flooding.
Right.
As you know, that's impossible to build a dam around Leaf Creek, around the station,
Right.
to be able to drive out. So that's why we had to move. Asbestos has been abated, there's no asbestos,
No mold?
no mold. It's not practical to move in it, so the rescue squad doesn't wanna use the inside portion of it. We simply wanna use the bay area. The city could keep it, but by it being a city or local government, we have to provide flood insurance. And when the flood happened in 2018, the flood insurance then was $47,000 a year.
That was gonna be my next question.
So if a nonprofit takes the building, nonprofit doesn't have to have insurance
Okay.
on the building. All of our equipment is insured. Our trucks, everything, our portable equipment, everything we have is insured. So we're not gonna go in the building and put furniture or anything inside it. We're gonna park stuff in it that is already insured. So if there's a pickup or a trailer or UTV inside of the building, it's insured. So the building wouldn't necessarily have to be, you wouldn't have to have flood insurance.
So what cosmetically are we gonna do to the building?
We would
For the
just,
42,000?
so, right, it's gonna have to have a new roof. It's not had a roof since, well, the south station had a roof and the north station didn't because we were out of it. So we would have to put a roof on it to keep it from falling apart, obviously. There's some bay door issues, as you remember, you probably remember when the flood came, it washed all of our bay doors under. There's little stuff that we've never went back in and done because we simply just used it for storage. But if we were gonna be there every day, like heat, the heat in the bays, it's gonna have to be redone. Utilities, meaning light bill, paying the light bill, the city pays their own light bills. So we would have to pay the light bill, just different day-to-day operation stuff, maintenance, upkeep on the
Someone
grass.
be there, it won't be.
Somebody's gotta cut the grass.
Yeah, and I hadn't really officially said this, but I think the paid fireman's gonna still continue to cut the grass.
You officially said it now.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know that yet.
It won't be manned 24/7.
No, so the rescue squad's strictly 100% volunteer.
Right.
And a lot of
So
people
the
have.
light bill shouldn't be high.
No, but we still, I mean, we leave the lights on. And you got heat and whatever. But we use it, everybody questioned us when we said we wanted to do this. Our goal is to keep the 2 rescue trucks that respond to emergency calls stayed still at the Laurinburg Fire Department. So the paid guys can drive it and there's no delay. We don't want to put those trucks down there and have to wait on a volunteer to go get it. But we do have a trailer that y'all graciously gave us last year, a UTV, a SAR truck, 3 or 4 boats and canoes that's been sitting outside at the South Fire Station for years. And last year we had to, Mr. Jackson helped us get it, we had to buy a new Zodiac boat, which is inflatable, because it sat in the sun and dry rotted. So we're trying to keep this stuff indoors, and that's why you do see an increase in our budget this year. But like Ms. Need said, the city does pay half of it, and we have met with them, and that's why we're here, is to make sure y'all are.
Well, and we'll get into the budget discussion later on, but I just wanted to point out that our cut of that would be basically $73,000, which is about a $13,000 increase. I just wanted, so when we get to the budget.
And another big thing that was in there outside of that station is equipment replacement. You see $35,000. In that is air pack replacement and airbags. So currently our heavy rescue truck has airbags on it. And when I say airbags, it's a lifting device. Our other truck does not, so we only have 1 truck in the county that's got it. So that is to put airbags on both trucks and air packs on both trucks. And we use air packs for just about anything. And then an equipment line item, the $7,000 you see is a bus and truck kit. And we do have capabilities to get a bus and a truck off of somebody in the event of an accident now. It would take a little while to make that happen, but with this bus and truck kit, it is designed to do it. And our goal is to buy this kit and put it on the truck. So if we respond to an accident on the interstate, we've got it ready to go instead of having to wait and make something work. So that's why the increase in equipment.
This is gonna be an ongoing every year.
Not for that equipment, no, sir, but, the upkeep on that station as we need it would be. But like Mr. Williams said, it won't be a huge increase, because nobody's gonna be there. And once we get past the initial move in and upkeep of it, I think it'll be pretty good every year.
So you have a miscellaneous grant line on there. Are you expecting to
So,
pick up?
so speaking on the miscellaneous grant, so we are the rescue squad is able to apply for 3 grants through Office of State Fire Marshal. And they give us, we can buy anything on this grant to go toward rescue stuff, air packs, whatever, rope rescue equipment. But when they award the grant, it's normally like on a Thursday and the end of the month, and we have to be able to match it. We have to pay for it up front, and then they pay us back. Well, we've always had to go before the council to get a budget amendment. Well, we put that in there to keep from having to go get a budget amendment. Well, there was some misunderstanding with this grant, with this line item, and some people thought that because that money was there, it was money that was being held back. That money was simply there for the grant. So to make it clear this year, we removed it. And in the event we are awarded the grant again this year, we will just do a budget amendment one way or the other. To keep that, that's why you see that there last year. We tried it, it didn't work, so it's been removed. And the grant, we always, we're strictly volunteers, so the OSFM, just about 100% of the time, we receive a grant. So that's why we normally try to buy all of our big equipment. That's why you don't see it, is because the state's paying for it on a grant.
Is there a reason that 8,000 insurance is green? Or just somebody?
That might have been my mistake when I copied it.
Well, MJ did that.
I had to copy it and minimize it because it was like 40 pages when I sent it to her the first time, so that might have been my mistake.
Yeah,
That's fine, I just wanna make sure there wasn't something significant about it. Okay, like I said, this will roll into our regular budget discussion we're getting into later on, so, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we're not looking at $147,000, we're looking at a 50% of that, so, okay. Anybody else? Thank you both.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. RCC funding request.
So Mr. Brent Barbie sent over the RCC funding request, and that was in your packet. Ms. Tyson will pull that up. RCC is requesting $34,000 more than they did last year. Yes, we will pull that up. There it is. You can see the things that increased largely was their landscaping services went up 21%, and then you'll see utilities that are projecting to go up 13%. So you all can make a determination. Do you want to fund their entire request? Do you want to fund a portion of their request? It's a large jump. Well, you can see it's a 6% jump from one year to the next.
And this is only for the Honeycutt Center?
Yes, this is just for these campuses over here.
This one and out.
Right, 1, 2, 3.
They cut the grass, but I don't see it in our, what's it budgeted for on our, for whatever reason, I don't see it.
It's probably tied up in, it's not gonna be listed out by itself. Although I thought I did see it.
It says community college.
Yeah, there you go. And
Is it inside that number?
Why am I missing that?
I don't see it either.
it's
Oh, I see it.
70-15.
Okay. So, but I was getting to, what are we putting in this proposal, and you've got the whole amount in the proposal, okay, I see it now.
Yeah. the 573.
Well, they asked for an increase last
They
year.
did and got it, and
We
you
gave
gave
the
them
whole
more.
thing,
Yeah, you did.
Oh, we did
we
that.
gave the whole thing.
No, you gave them the whole thing last year.
Sure did.
Well, I mean, utilities is not something they can control. Nothing else they're asking for is outrageous. Landscape and maintenance. So it's a big percentage increase, but again, today it's not a large dollar amount. Well, we can discuss that when we get into the motion or into the budget.